at some point, it's thinking about it. We are live. We are live. Hello.
Live, yes.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Right.
Still
It's
getting-
we were just having the trouble is there's a bad thing that's happened
difficulties?
is that I'm in charge of the technical side tonight, so we're completely doomed, all of us. Which is slightly concerning. But
As I am getting comments coming through in Spanish. Tony Delta Blues back. Four comments all in Spanish. So
I think that's Tony's fault for starting the conversation in Spanish. It's just ended up now. It's going to be Spanish.
All Spanish. Everything's coming through in Spanish now. So I have no idea what the hell is happening. I'm
wow.
just here. Yeah.
You are just here indeedy.
See, Edgar, it's in Spanish.
Let's see.
Are you getting it in Spanish? Or are you seeing it in English?
They are just speaking in Spanish. Don't worry.
What have you done?
I mean, it's just that. Yeah, it's just you know. They're just winding you up. It's Tony's fault. He's causing chaos.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
We're here. We're live. We're chaos as usual.
Yes.
Total
chaos
levels.
And disorder. Yeah.
You don't get this kind of professionalism on Sky News or any of those channels. You don't get this. I mean,
no.
you get, this is proper stuff. I'm gonna actually say hello in the comments and see if
if it comes out in Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if you type it in Spanish, it will come out in English. Hello. Oh, that's English.
Hey, there we go. We're all good. We're all good.
Oh my god.
Oh, but it's good to be. I see you're on brand tonight. You're on brand. Look at that. I like that one. That's nice.
Yeah, it's good, that one, isn't it? Yeah, and it's got the 19.99 on the back. Yeah.
You didn't get that from the
Edgar Cruz is doing that on purpose.
You didn't get that from the estate at sort of £70, did you, or not?
No, this was the beautiful rocket pool.
Oh, rocket pool.
Yeah.
I saw that before we get started. I saw the t-shirt, the black t-shirt that got the estate it's black, but with the black symbol on it, and I really wanted it. And like I say, I got it. I put it in the basket, and it was like I can't remember, like $50, and then there's this charge, and then it was like delivery, and then it got to $70, and I thought, God, this is like $70
for a t-shirt.
For a t-shirt, and I at that moment I left it in my basket. Now all I'm getting is reminders from the Prince Estate. You have something in your basket. You haven't checked it out. Why haven't you done that?
Yeah.
So
you mean you didn't buy the scarves and the pajamas? I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Oh,
I was kind of I just couldn't. I mean, I love the t-shirt, but I'm thinking
there are some nice designs in some of the t-shirts.
Yeah,
definitely. I liked a few of them, but again, you've got to do it as a group, all get together and then go in and then sort of share the cost. I think that's the only way it works.
Exactly.
That's why from the estate.
Yeah, that's why Rocket Pool works, because if they can get a big delivery to Rocket Pool,
Yeah.
Anyway, we were going to say hello. Hello, Brian. Good evening from West Sussex. Beautiful place.
Lovely shirt. I've got one just like that.
I hope you've checked
from Rocket Pool.
Yeah, I hope you've checked, Brian. You still have that in case Mr. Ants has just sort of popped around and stolen it, because that black symbol of black shirt is cool, but not at that price point. You are absolutely right. Like I said, I really. It was one of those I thought, I've got to have that. I love that.
Yeah.
And I even got an email from the estate today saying free shipping on your next order over $75 in America. And it's like, so even that didn't really sort of swing.
Outrageous.
I mean, $70. I mean, that's about now, because the way the dollar is that's about what, 55, 60 quid, which for a t-shirt.
You can't justify that,
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's cheaper than it's cheaper than the glasses, but
everything's cheaper than the glasses. I mean, God's sake,
What are they? $425, I think, or something like that. I think they were
outrageous. I tell you,
it was just we've been how should we put it? I think the Prince world has been brewing. I think brewing's a really good word. It's a very British word with our
absolutely our obsession with
tea and
yes. Afternoon tea, what? Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
No, the estate, the Prince community has been brewing. It's been for a while. I wouldn't say it's not particularly one thing, but it's just the lack of anything, the lack of communication. Even if we had the communication, say, here's a thing that's coming for Record Store Day, or here's a thing that's coming, that's something. But at the moment, it's largely radio silence. If you get any messages, it's very cryptic, isn't it? It's very kind of, something's coming, but we can't tell you about it. And I think then the big push on merch. And like I say, we don't have a problem with merch.
No.
As a concept, I mean, you're wearing merch, I'm wearing merch. We don't have a problem with merch. It's not that. It's that it seems to be that and nothing else. And B, that obviously if you're outside the US, you're paying a fortune, on it. You really are. I mean, I'll highlight some comments because we can go for that. Tony Delta Blues, man, there's no way on God's earth I'm spending 50 quid on a tea. I've just had my gas and electric bill in. For those
Tell me about that.
For those of you outside the UK, believe me, at the moment, gas electricity is like
it's obscene. It's obscene. I tell you,
it's crazy. And like you say, 50 quid is. I mean,
you can't justify it. You can't.
No, I mean, lots of places, obviously, I know are also suffering, but certainly, I mean, obviously, from our position in the UK, the cost of living and stuff like that, 50 quid, for is a lot of money. I mean,
well, that's money you'll be spending on your energy bills or on your food, the essential stuff, basically.
I mean, that's at the moment. So I say, speaking personally, that's actually slightly more than a week's food for me. And it's like, that's a lot to say, do I have this T-shirt or do I eat next week? It's like,
Exactly.
It's a tough thing. I mean, 50, like I say, I got up to 70 quid and I thought, $70, sorry, which is about 60 quid, something like that. And I thought, and bearing in mind, we also have problems because when it comes in, often we get charges, don't we? We get like,
that's right. We get the import tax or whatever it is, slapped on top, another 15 quid or something ridiculous. Yeah.
And we also wait probably, 2-3 weeks. I mean, some people are waiting a long time. And I think it said on mine, it was between, I think it said 7 and 21 days, but it's always more than that. I mean, how do you feel about the whole merch situation? I mean, like I say, we're not against merch as a concept.
No, because put it this way, if you went to a Prince concert, one of the first things you do when you get there is you go to the merch stands because you're excited.
So, where's my sexy MF t-shirt?
Exactly. You want a t-shirt, you want a necklace, you want something. There's, we all love that. We all get excited by a bit of merchandise. Absolutely, fantastic. But when that's all that they are releasing at the moment, and as you say, no word of music, no plan, no talk about when the next Super Deluxe is coming, when the next, record store day release is coming, what their plan is, and you get scarves, you get bed sheets, you get pajamas, you get this thing with the glasses and everything, and you think, well, that's great, but why is that all that's happening and nothing else? What's going on?
I mean, it's interesting because go on.
No, I was going to say, because up until now they've been the envy of a lot of the estates, a lot of the Super Deluxe that's come out, been brilliant, and it had been a constant stream of stuff coming out. If you look back now at all the stuff we've got, you go, wow, you've got originals, you've got Welcome to America, you've got the Sign of the Times, you've got 1999, there's loads of stuff that's come out. Record store day releases, you've had One Night Alone, Piano and a Microphone, not piano, the 83 one, but you've also had the One Night Alone album. So there's been absolutely loads of stuff. So, and then suddenly it's just bang, that's it, hit a brick wall. What's going on? I mean, before we even had those, they'd suddenly release, like a demo of Do Me Baby or whatever it was, or things like that would just appear randomly, and all that stopped. When's the last time they put a video on YouTube, on the official channel? What's going on? That's
a really good point. There's a lot of really good points, but I think two really good points is that you go back not that long ago, and we were the envy of all the estates. The estates were all looking at us, and they were saying, "Wow, this is like." This is like the way to be. This is the best way to do. And I think we were, the Michael Jackson estate, we even made sort of a few comments, didn't they? Their fans. They were saying, oh, well, the Prince estate, this and that. And they kind of like, they knew the Prince estate was the absolute, one to be. But also you make a really good point about they could put out little things, little things like, say, the Do Me Baby. There's no reason they can't put out a little single really often. There's so many things in the vault. You can do that. You could put something on YouTube. You could put a clip. I mean, that doesn't take anything. Like I say, putting out a little thing like that isn't a problem. I mean, we even have problems with those singles because they put the single out. They say, here's a single. You have to wait 2 months to order it. By the time you get it as another 2 or 3 months, it's 6 months and you've kind of, the moment's gone.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You're like, there's, like I say, they could put little concert clips out. They could be doing something. But I think that's a really good point you make, that there's no plan. That we're allowed to be part of. They obviously say, oh, there's stuff happening, but they could have put stuff in to bridge that gap. Because I know I know the estate's obviously gone through a change, and we've gone to the point now where we're 50% pretty much the family and 50% sort of primary wave and all that. But there's so many things they could have put out to bridge that gap. And there's rumours that, you know, Diamonds and Pearls was ready, or, you know, things like that. And I think there's so many ways they could promote it without necessarily. We're not expecting every month for there to be a super deluxe, but you know, there's a lot of things they could be doing, and I think that's really
absolutely,
that's really, you know.
Yeah. Just have a look at some of the comments here. Yeah,
Tony. Here. I'll let you tackle that one.
Which one?
Tony Delta Blues here, our guy.
Oh, I'd save up for the physical music, but not the tees and merch. I know a lot of people would buy it, and good on them. But yeah, I mean,
well, that's the thing. It all stems from the music, doesn't it? I mean, without the music, you know, it can't just be the merch, because I don't know if you saw that, but there's a lot of people on. They did a few sort of, I think it's on TikTok and various things, where people sort of had the merch, but obviously didn't actually know anything about print. I mean, I don't mean they just hadn't even. They didn't even know. It was just something, you know, it was like cool to wear, and, you know, and I know that gets the word out, and sometimes people then discover prints through that way, but the music's got to be part of that. And I know there's been lots of things, you know, with the let's look here. Modern Air original merchandise is always best from back in the day. There's new stuff, you know, people are free to buy it, but who is the money going to? Not the artist. Oh, and this is the thing also. To be fair, I'd like see Paisley Park is part of the estate, but it's also a bit separate. You know, it's kind of one of those things where, although it's part of the estate, it's run slightly separately. They don't have the input into the music. They keeping that running is a different thing. That's basically, like, say, a museum, but you have events. You've got you know, hopefully we'll get people to record there. They can certainly do concerts. They're having a Love to the Nines. Is it just, you know, just now about you know, sort of Valentine's Day, and I think that those things kind of, like, say, Paisley Park is always separate. Well,
I got mine.
I was going to fly over. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You probably.
I mean, why they invited me from? Like, it's just around the corner.
I mean, that's another thing we could say about Paisley Park. The opportunity that I think we need also to reach out worldwide. You know, do some live streaming events that everybody can see, and do a little bit of a mini tour so people can see. Because some people are going to visit. That's brilliant. But some people, I mean, certainly for the UK, it's probably, you're talking 3-4 grand probably. I don't know. I mean,
at least,
you know. So I mean, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Merchandise is good, but it's a small market for third eye glasses. Yes,
exactly. Yeah,
it really is.
It's a very, very small market.
This is the thing, because in a sense, merch should be cheaper and easier to get now than ever, because, you know, they've got all these companies whose job it is to do these things. And I mean, like I say, we've always said they should have a distribution point in most countries where, you know, these states send a load of stuff and then to Rocket Pool to stay in the UK or whoever in any other country, and they can just distribute that stuff cheaply. There's hardly any postage, and it's all fine. Yeah, I think that's a real, you know. Absolutely,
they've got to have partners in every country that they can work with, and, you know, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? It's just so simple. You know, it's...
I mean, we forget half of the Prince fans, you know, are outside the US. It's a you know, it's a huge, you know, a huge thing.
A few questions. Somewhat astonishing that the strange global rise in energy costs. This sea change flies into consideration when we want to spend money on extra fun stuff for our favourite artists. Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, that's the thing at the moment. Money is tight, and I think you've got to, when that happens, you know, the estate have got to kind of think, well, you know, we could put out smaller things, which we've always said. I mean, we've always said, like, there should be an NPG music club like there used to be. You should be able to pay, you know, like a Spotify, basically, for Prince. Bruce Springsteen has one. You can download all his concerts. You can download lots of things. You know, $7-10 a month, whatever it is. You can go there. You can download concerts. You can share. You know, you can have files. Because at the moment, all we see at the moment is bootleggers making a fortune. Because ultimately they're saying, well, hold on, there's a demand for this. People want piano and microphone. People want the Slaughterhouse. What we're going to do, we're going to put it out there, and now they're putting it on vinyl. Their production, their sort of production values have really increased.
Gone through the roof, haven't they?
I mean, the piano and microphone one, honestly, if you'd have said
it looks professional, doesn't it?
2 or 3 years ago, I thought that would have come from the estate. 2 or 3 years ago, if you'd looked at it, I'd have thought, my God, there's no way a bootlegger could have done that.
No,
it's got a poster, it's got kind of It's got everything. It looks
with modern technology, they're so sophisticated now, aren't they? You know,
yeah, it's not like the old days where we used to get like a CD and something's written on it. You know, not like
exactly.
that. It's incredible. I mean,
yeah,
it's,
and obviously we're not condoning, no, any of that action. But it's just that what do you expect? People are going to go for it because they can't get it anywhere else.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, we said before, every pound that goes to the bootleggers is a pound the estate could have had, but they just decided not to put it out, and people want the product. That proves the demand, doesn't it? It proves the demand.
Absolutely. I really wonder what Prince would think and say about the way the merch releases general dealing with the legacy. Yeah, that's a great question, isn't it? I mean, where do you go with that? I mean, go on, Jay.
I think, just very briefly, I think it's like this. I think it started off slowly. They sort of stumbled, the piano and microphone. They should have chosen the other piano and microphone. They made a bit of an error there, but they were finding their feet. And I thought, okay, well, it's fresh. They're finding their feet. They're not quite sure. Then it got better and better. I think, Sign of Times, 1999 was probably still my favorite box set. It really surprised, amazing. And I thought they were getting better and better. And they were saying, oh my God, this is the way to go. Other estates, including Michael Jackson, were saying, wow. They were kind of getting quite defensive, like the Prince estate is setting the scene. Look how much the Prince estate given. And then it just stopped. Yeah. And it was like, I know part of it was a changeover with the thing, but then they said, we're waiting for Netflix, or we're changing over to the thing. We're going to get a clear direction. But even now we don't have that because it's still split into two camps, the primary wave and the family. And I feel like we've stalled and we've lost that momentum. And the hardest thing is to get that momentum, back
again. Yeah, exactly. And it's easy to point the finger and say, it's because it's the new people it's the family, it's whoever's in charge, because it's changed as soon as that's happened. But, it's difficult because they're not saying nothing. So, without anything, that's the trouble. The fact that they don't say anything makes it worse because you're just grasping at straws, grasping to find out what's happening, Well,
that's the thing, the communication you get. I mean, obviously the family in terms of online presence, Sharon doesn't really talk about releases, she does sort of biblical quotes. But Charles, he will say things, but obviously it's quite cryptic, so you don't know. It's just something's coming, but you don't know if is that something celebration? No. Is that something
something to do with 7? That's what they keep going on about.
I mean, it's difficult to tell what's going, and I don't expect them to lay out every single thing, and a few surprises would be good, but I think we've just lost so much momentum, and it's so hard to get momentum back. I mean, we were hoping when the Netflix documentary came out, we were hoping, and we don't know, it's not confirmed, but we were hoping there'd be a big release alongside that. So when people see the Netflix documentary, they go, God, that's amazing. I want to find out more. We were always thinking like a greatest hits, but the whole career rather than just to like 93 or whatever, just the whole career. But,
There's a good question, quote from Edgar. He's saying here, Prince was also struggling himself with European distribution. He had fans sell Hit and Run phase 1 and 2 in Europe. This is true, is madness. The peer-to-peer. I mean, we have to admit that and go back. Remember that when Prince was doing this thing, it always was a fiasco. Remember Crystal Ball? It was a complete fiasco always.
He was always trying new things. I mean, I got my Hit and Run. I got one from a store, but I got one from
I got one from Minneapolis. And
it was bizarre because I remember talking to the person not the person who supplied me, but another person who said they had boxes of them just in their garage.
Yeah.
So basically, they got loads of boxes of CDs, of Prince's CDs, and it was their job to kind of sell them on. They'd already obviously, I presume, paid for them or whatever, and so it was kind of. I mean, he was always looking at that. He was very innovative. The problem, in a sense, of being that innovative is when you're first, you have to deal with all the problems and the bugs and stuff like that, and that takes a long time. And that takes a long thing, and I think you've also got to factor in a slight. The fact that Prince was always thinking about the next thing and about the next project, so his mind was kind of like it wasn't going to sit there spending his life in business meetings trying to work out. The ins and outs of this and that. It was just he had ideas which, like, do you remember that we had the idea of dropping the Carmen Electra CDs from a helicopter or something? They're like, Prince, you can't do that. You're going to kill
probably the best thing you could do with them, probably. So he had a good idea in a way, but
I mean, that's the thing though. But it was peer-to-peer was like, I mean, Crystal Ball. I felt so sorry for people who ordered it. Sorry, they waited, didn't they? And waited. And then other people like me went into the shop and just got them, just straight away. Yeah, peer-to-peer was... I was just going to say peer-to-peer. I mean, has anybody done that before? And has anyone done it since? What happened to that? I mean, it was such a,
wow. I mean, that's a way of doing it. Get your own community to do it for you, basically.
Because I suppose the argument was they know the fans, they know the people who would want the kind of CDs, but then you've got this risk, I suppose, for that person, haven't you? You've got kind of like loads of CDs in your garage, and you've got to kind of sell them. But I suppose that's no different to having it just cuts out the
middleman.
The middleman. But I mean, he very much mentioned that with New Power Soul, didn't he? Where he talked about making $7 instead of 7 cents sort of thing, and it's he was always looking at that. Yeah,
he just came. That's been wonderful.
I mean, there's a strong argument. Like I say, you can sell millions. Some artists sell millions and owe the record company.
Yeah,
how the hell does that happen?
Exactly.
How are you selling millions and owing the record company? That's crazy. I mean,
Leo, is the next release going to be a 12-inch of Wedding Feast? A feast, a smorgasbord at least. Come on, I love Wedding Feast. Who does a track like that?
I mean, I want a house version. I want an extended version.
Exactly. Not just a bag of chickens. Come on, everyone. The turkey meat you see. We are what we eat, so we all sit and live. We're down under a tree. Unless it snows. Ah, dear.
Dear, oh dear. It's
Sorry about that.
Don't. I think there is.
He's thinking, why did I invite him on? This never happens when we do the quiz.
We know you love. I think the thing is, though, like I say, he's in a sense he paid a bit of a price. I mean, obviously through the whole kind of slave era, he paid a price for challenging the industry, and he also paid a price for being first in a lot of things. And I think I always said one of the things I admired most is he could have had a really easy life and said, you know what, I'm gonna follow a Diamonds and Pearls template. I'm gonna produce it, put videos out for everything. I'm going to promote everything. I'm going to have singles for everything. And that's what the company, record companies want. They want you to sort of tour for a year, do the album, really push it. But it's a lot. Who do you want to highlight next? Go for it, Mr. Ant. You
choose. Modern Era again. What have we got here? When Prince was alive, I remember the same kind of complaint, and no offense meant here, but in retrospect and in that time, I felt it was a little over obsessive and strange to be telling the Prince what Prince should be doing instead of what he was doing.
Well, this is the thing. He like I say, it's always brave to be first, to try and do these things differently. And the trouble is, like you say, you get 1,000 headaches, and the person who comes second or third doing the idea has learnt from all the errors or successes you've had, and can kind of do it a lot easier. And I think it's very difficult to go first and to try these innovative things. And I think also people were probably advising Prince, saying, well, this is to be tricky, but he wants to kind of do things differently. He always thought outside that box. But I mean, I don't know. It made it difficult because you couldn't really tell how many albums had been sold, could you? Because it was all kind of boxes in people's garages and various things we didn't know. And I'd love to know what he made from Hit and Run Phase 1 and 2. Financially, I don't know. It's very difficult to tell. I
can't imagine it was a lot.
No. I mean, it's but then he, to be fair, he's always done things different. I mean, you look at Planet Earth, which he gave away in the 21 Nights, just gave it away. He did the same thing with Musicology, which kind of forced them to change the rules, didn't they? So they sort of doesn't count as them. So I mean, he's always crystal ball, like you say. He's always done things differently, and that's part of his whole thing, isn't it? It's
absolutely, absolutely. What we got here, I've always stayed clear of bootlegs. Haven't had a couple. They were always poor quality, but the one you showed did look good. I still wouldn't buy it though. Yeah, that's a fair comment. They are what they were back in the day. I know they were always very, muffled or rubbish, and fourth generation recording or something worse. Really bad. As you say, I don't know what the audio quality is. Some of them are. You don't want to admit to owning some of these things, but some stuff you have is, soundboard quality. Some stuff is, really bad. Some stuff, but then again, even some of the stuff they put out on the Vault stuff is, the tape is a bit, you want piano and a microphone. Even some of the time it's a bit, where they've got the copies from cassettes themselves and stuff like that. So
I think the first one I bought, I just got into Prince. I was like 14, and I went to the local town hall. They had like a record fair, and I didn't know anything about bootlegs. I didn't even know what they were. And I went in there, they had a load of Prince stuff. So I got like a triple set. Now, obviously, it was a bootleg. I didn't know at 14 because I'd got into Prince like a few months before. And it was lots of different songs, Cookie Jar, Good Man, The Flow. And it was like a whole new world of like, I didn't know about these songs. I didn't really understand. And like I say, it wasn't until later I really understood it was, not an official product. But like I say, we're not condoning bootleg. What for me, what bootlegs show is there's demand for Prince's work. And if the estate aren't fulfilling it, the trouble is the bootleggers will step in. The best way, we've all said, to beat the bootleggers is to release the product yourself, have an NPG, MC, get all those things out there. If you can beat them at their own game, lots of artists do that. They'll put audio shows on their website. You can download them, various things. And I think if you go that way, you get the money, because ultimately the money's out there and clearly people are prepared to spend it. Now, why not let the estate have it? Because at the moment, I think they're losing. I mean, at the moment, we said like if you want piano and microphone 2016, you can't buy it officially. It cannot be done. You can't do it. So the choice people have then is, do I download it for free somewhere, or buy a bootleg? But they can't buy it officially. And there's so many people who've been asking for years since Prince kind of sort of left us. Can I have the 2016? Just they've been begging for it. And it's just bizarre to have that for 7 years and still not be out there. And I think that's so frustrating, because they could just do that.
The thing was that he was working on that, wasn't he? We know he was working on, and it's the first release that should have happened.
We all know the first. Yeah,
we should have been before. Almost the ship has sailed. The moment's gone. Whatever we wanted, it's like, why the hell wasn't it released? Straight away, or the first anniversary, and then it just gets later and later to the point where it gets more awkward the longer it goes now. It's like, when are you gonna, are they ever gonna release it? What is the problem?
I think they made a mistake. Obviously, I think the trouble with the piano mic for the casual fan, the piano microphone 83, the casual fan is going to say, well, why am I buying piano microphone 2016? Why is that different? Now, obviously, it's a very different thing. One's a rehearsal, one's a full performance of concert. They're very different things. But to the general public, I don't think they care about the difference. They don't really. I think they should have done that first away. Like I say, it's usually what the most artists, if they pass away, they have their last show. It's like, it's really one of those things they do. And I think that's modern air. Now we're telling the estate what they should be doing instead of what they're doing. In a way,
doing anything, really. I mean, unless you like pajamas.
I think the thing is, I've always said this, that I think the estate don't owe us, they owe Prince.
Yes.
And I think the estate now obviously is roughly 50% record company, and a record company exists to put out records. That's what the purpose of a record company is. And the other 50% are the family. Now, the family, in a sense, can be that kind of, what would you call it? I don't know what I call it, like a kind of like a moral force, in the sense of they can ensure that Prince isn't exploited, that his name isn't put on inappropriate products and various things. They can be the kind of the almost the break on rampant capitalism, if you like. They can just make sure things are done properly. But ultimately, the estate owes Prince, and I think there's so much work out there. Now, if you forget for a second all the vault, just for 1 second, you forget about all the stuff that's unreleased. We've all said most Prince tours don't have an official document. The London O2 shows don't have an official video. There's not an official video for the new tour. I mean, in terms of you can go and buy now. Act 1, you've got a full Diamonds and Pearls. I mean, there's no official document that you can actually have of that tour. Now, I think, and at the moment, there's certainly albums which aren't even in print, and you think, it's like, we don't have the right to tell the estate what to do, but the estate also owe it to Prince to really, even if they just, even just the work he's already released.
Well, I thought it was all supposed to be all remastered and re-released, wasn't it? And the existing catalogue, that's kind of stopped, isn't it? So I don't know what happened there. So just having a look. A good one from Tony Delta Blues, the Slave Era. You're going, that's a good one. Crystal Ball was a mess, yes. Distribution outside the US has been a problem for a quarter of a century. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It definitely has. It just, I mean, you think how long that's been. It's been changing it. He could have just, he could have just stuck with the record company, but he wanted to change those things up.
It was the price he paid, for you know, the fight that he did, which leads into that comment, and we'll look at Tony Delta Blues about the slave era, because that's the price he paid, you know, for what he fought for, and how he wanted to do things. And that was the fact that you didn't see him in the charts anymore, he did, you know, and all that kind of stuff, you know. But would be so great for the music that was only available on his MPG site to be released, plus the accompanying PP concert. Yeah, well, some of it has been released, hasn't it? Things like One Night Alone, because that was only available, you know, the piano album.
Oh, I didn't know if you meant also like the you know, like the audio shows.
Yeah, the audio
yeah,
shows.
I mean, some,
obviously.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Like I say, that's another thing. How easy a win is that? Say we've got a website, we're going to put them on there. You can download them.
Yes, I mean,
I could do that.
They're great.
I could do that in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you want to charge like a little fee, if you want to say, look, we're going to charge you, I don't know, £2, £3, whatever, for like a couple of audio shows, whatever, you know, for like a couple of hours of music, you know, £2 or £3 in decent quality for the audio shows. I know there's complications with some of the audio shows because obviously he included other artists and there might be rights, things like that. But there's got to be stuff like that they can put out. I mean, I'm just going to highlight that the one comment you mentioned.
Yeah, the slave era, wasn't it? Yeah, slave era was misunderstood by the mainstream at the time. Now, however, many artists are benefiting tremendously from his foresight and clarity of mind. Exactly. I mean, that, you know, that fight for artist rights and freedom that he went through, you know, is going to be felt for generations. You know, there are still many artists being controlled of what they have to do. You know, if they're signed to a label, you know, how they look, what they eat, how they sound.
Do you know what? That is a key thing as well. If you start off as any artist, whatever you are, the record company wants you to stay as that thing. You know, they don't want to take, like Prince did lots of different genres of music. But if I don't know, Ed Sheeran or whoever said, I want to do a country in Western Elm, or I want to do you know, a techno, you know, Prince had that ability to do those different genres. But now, like I say, it's like, we know what sells. This is what you must do. Do some more of that. That's it. And you must have, you know, 25 people ensuring that that's what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're right as well. I saw as a newspaper in the UK at the time, who had a sort of column about Prince at the time of the slave era, and they said, "Oh, the biggest scandal, Prince scandal ever. He's a normal guy." They were literally saying, like, they were kind of basically saying he was so out there that they thought that they couldn't realize that, you know, he was doing this for artists. Right at the time, they thought he was mad. They didn't understand. There was the Brits. People were. I mean, the pop group was at Blur, had Dave on their face. They were all kind of, you know, but it was only years later where people knew what he was doing. I mean, he did to his defense explain it to people, but they didn't really get it. They said, well, the whole comment was, you're rich, what does it matter? And this is what I could never understand, because if you're unknown, no one's going to listen to you. If you're rich, they go, well, you're rich, you don't know. It's like, well, it's only people who are rich who can really get that out there and change that thing. And, you know,
exactly.
If you're just some guy on the street saying, well, I think it's unfair, people are not going to listen. So it's easy to, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What have we got here? When Prince is alive again, he seems like his bands were tired, and now the estate seems like their hands are tired. Some of the times could be that DSD, that's so many hands trying to get a piece of the pie.
I think that's the thing at the moment. It's not clear. There's not a direct person in charge, is there? Like say, because Primary Wave have been very quiet. I don't know. I mean, I presume Primary Wave are just about, they want to make money. That's it. They're a record company. That's why they exist. So in a sense, that should be simple. But they're not going to make any money without any products going out. That's not going to happen. The family, we only hear from Charles, but we don't obviously hear hear the ins and outs, as it were. Tony's got to head off. We'll say bye, Tony. Sorry, Tony.
Night, Tony. Bless you, mate.
Tony,
family. I know what it's like. I've sent my family out there.
One guy and 4 girls. He's outnumbered. He's outnumbered. I mean,
he's outnumbered. Bless him. Yeah. Oh dear. Apart from. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, go on. You put that one.
No, go on. Go for it.
Go for this one. Go on. The estate is going to send out a poll to fans and release one of the following: signature Cornetto designed by Renato Netto, selection of animated clothes of Jill Jones for your phones.
I mean,
Jill Jones for your phones. Can't we have clones of Carmel Electric?
What have we had? We've had scarves, pajamas, slippers. Like I say, we don't have a problem with merch. It's just at the moment it's 99%. Well, not 99% merch. It's 100% merch and no percent music.
No music at all.
Which is,
no.
You know.
Yeah, I was looking at this. Apart from Syracuse, there's no official release of a complete concert. Wow, you think? Because obviously, Sign of the Times is cobbled together from Paisley Park and the online, the live footage.
One Night Alone is not complete. That's only a sort of section of the show, isn't it?
Love Sexy Dortmund. Is that one whole show?
Was there cuts in it?
Or was it? Or are some taken from another night? I never knew. I always thought it was one live show, that one, but
it's a good point. I mean,
are we talking audio or are we talking video?
The thing is, we just take it for granted. I think he's the greatest live performer ever, and yet I can't watch 21 Nights. I can't watch the Vegas Residency. I can't watch, Diamonds and Pearls. I can't watch.
We had the 1999 one, didn't we? That with the 1999 box set. That was a complete concert, wasn't it? Detroit, was it Detroit or?
Well, he recorded everything, didn't he? And that's the thing we forget. He recorded everything. I mean, we went to certainly when I went to Shepherd's Bush, Third Eye Girl, the cameras were right on the quality, because they showed a clip of Chaos and Disorder. The quality, the cameras were right here.
It's HD footage, isn't it?
Perfect quality. That's there. And yet, no one's even mentioned bringing out a Third Eye Girl tour. I mean, to be honest, that part of his career, like I say, we understand, because at the moment, if you think about it, they've done it very, in terms of what sells, didn't it? Because I mean, they've done Purple Rain, 1999, Sign of the Times, it makes you wonder, are they going to even ever get to later periods that weren't necessarily commercially huge? Are they going to get to kind of,
I mean, what about one of the parade shows? I mean, for God's sake, I mean, they're amazing. When you see the footage from that birthday one, whatever, and the bit that is out there.
And that's the thing. Wow. I mean, what is out there is about 45 minutes. I can't remember something.
45 minutes, I think, isn't it? Yeah. And it looks incredible. I mean, wow. I think you'd love to see the whole show. Just fantastic. I mean, come on. Yes, I forgot 1999 and Sign of the Times. Oh, Ed guy, you don't need to. Yeah, don't worry. I forget my own name most days. So.
I think this is a good point as well. Netflix. The argument has always been, I mean, not strictly officially, but kind of the vibes have been, we've got to wait for the Netflix documentary. Everything's held up with all these rights and stuff like that. I mean, we hope that when it comes out, like I say, there needs to be something alongside it. I think for a start, I think it not only a product like an album or a Super Deluxe or even a hits collection for the whole career, but even a concert on Netflix. It would cost nothing to put a concert on Netflix, and there are people who would see it who wouldn't normally watch a Prince concert. If you manage to get 21 Nights, if you manage to get even something you've already, even if they said today we're going to put the Welcome to America concert on there, that would cost the estate nothing. It's out there now. The Netflix would pay them a decent chunk of money, and it means people would think, I might as well watch it. I've never seen Prince in. Oh, that's interesting, and Netflix will have that out there. So I mean, the documentary will never be perfect, because you couldn't. Whenever you make a documentary, you've got to truncate someone's life into a small space of time, and even if you make 8 to 10 episodes, you're going to miss stuff out, because it's. I mean, even 8 to 10 episodes, if you think about it, you're going to cover several years. In each episode. I mean, so it's never going to be perfect, but you want to get the buzz out there. You want people talking about Prince, and you want them to better go and buy a product.
Wasn't there talk that even the documentaries now in limbo or might not even come out? Or
there's rumors. I mean, there's rumors. There's problems, and people sort of not happy with. I mean, some people obviously weren't happy from the beginning. I think there was certain Prince associates who walked away quite early on. They said they didn't like the way it was particularly going. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously they've changed director once already. It's just
it's not always a good thing, but
I mean, I think when Ava DuVernay left, she said she did creative differences, which obviously can mean anything. But it sounds like she didn't like perhaps the way it was going. Go for it. This one. Let's look.
Sorry if this has been covered. Just logged on. What's going on with the deluxe editions? I thought Diamonds and Pearls would have been out in 2021 for the 30th. Well, that's one thing. They never, ever release something on its anniversary. And there have been the amount of anniversaries that have gone past in the last 6-7 years since Prince's passing, and they've just ignored them. So there's been, it's so frustrating. I mean, we put videos out and things to celebrate the anniversaries, just to try and create a little bit of buzz and say, this did actually happen. There is an anniversary going on. Love Symbol, last year, Diamonds and Pearls the year before that.
That's the thing, because a lot of people look forward, to the year, and they say, "Oh, well, this is X amount of years since this, so they may be able to do this," but no,
they don't.
You don't get that. You don't.
No, it just you might as well bang your head against the wall. It would be infinitely more fun.
I mean, people are talking about a 40th for Purple Rain, aren't they?
Yes. I think we only just had the 30th. It feels like.
But the way people are talking, they're quite. A lot of people I hear are very kind of confident that there'll be a 40th.
Nothing happened after 1984. You've got to remember, that's where it ends. 1984, and that's it. There's nothing. There's the odd track here and there, but that was it. But no, there was rumours of Diamonds and Pearls Deluxe. Apparently, it was ready to go.
Well, this is part of the controversy, isn't it? Yeah. It was allegedly
ready to go. Also, there was talk of it being bundled with Love Symbol album, the two of them together, which obviously we're not happy about that, but that's just our opinion. And then there was something on Twitter? Was it this week about that wasn't even a thing? It wasn't even ready or something. I thought I saw something on Twitter.
Yeah, I think Charles Spicer said, what people have been told isn't necessarily the truth, but he didn't make clear what the truth was. But then some people are saying no, it was ready, it was good to go, and then other people say, well, no, it's a change of management, they're going to do something else, and they have their own priorities. But then some people say, well, maybe they'll bring it back later and they'll kind of do it then. I mean, there's an argument, and the argument I can understand is there's been a big lull. If you'd have got this out, if it is already done, get it out, bridge the gap, and then it buys you time to do whatever you're going to do. Because say you wanted to release, just off the top of my head, completely making it up, say you want to release an Emancipation box set, and you say, right, it's going to take me 9 months or a year, then get the Diamonds and Pearls out now, get some goodwill going and some momentum building, and then that buys you time. It gets a bit of pressure off your back, and you can kind of go for the next thing.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. What have we got here? Modern Era again. Tony Delta Blues. Which artist, independent artist or current new artist in mainstream? Because my view, I don't see it. The benefit reaped now, it's the same old system, but probably more sophisticated. I see what you're saying. You do seem to see a lot of that still manufactured,
Oh, you do. I think
uncontrolled.
But you see, I think you also see some artists fighting for, like Taylor Swift, obviously famously sort of re-recording albums and saying, I'm taking these rights back. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a huge machine now. And in some ways, and I think Prince made this point in the Beautiful Ones, he made the point that it's become narrower. He talked about like Ed Sheeran and things, but I don't think he's particularly meant Ed Sheeran as a person. What he meant was radio stations and mainstream media. It's like it's become, there's more music out there now than ever, and yet bizarrely there's like this same half a dozen acts that really get pushed. So in some ways it's become a very much a machine, obviously, in the sense of I don't mean this in any sense for the artist, but like, for example, if Beyonce releases something, if Eminem releases something, if Pink or whatever, it will sell. It will be a big hit. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's not really. That's not really the key thing. It's like, this is a big machine. It's going to be a hit. It's going to happen, and it's going to be promoted. It's going to happen. But there's still a lot of manufacture. I mean, you're right. In some ways, it's absolutely true. Modern says, I don't mean to be negative, but I will be a contrarian here. And do you know what? You can be a contrarian, or we love that.
Absolutely.
Can I just make a really quick point? And I think this is really important. I've put it in a video before, but I think the worst kind of fans, we said, are the ones that are unengaged, the ones that are not interested. The ones that are interested, that care and are passionate, they're the ones that will drive it forward, and they're the ones that will make the difference. But the worst kind of fans, from a state's point of view, the worst kind of fans are the ones that go, I don't care, I'm not interested. Because that's the fans. Those fans won't buy anything. Those fans won't be interested in the thing. I think if you only kind of challenge these things if you care. Because people don't argue against things or things if they don't care, and it's about engagement. And I think that's what's really hit us, because the communication has stopped. I mean, they need to hire some communications person in charge, because
come on.
Charles just says things. Obviously, we don't know what they mean. They're cryptic. He's the only one really the family that speaks.
Yeah.
Sharon just puts out obviously that she does her Bible verses, but she doesn't really engage with anybody else. You know,
where's the official word from the actual estate?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what. I'd like to say some things that are easy wins that you could do. Do you know what we said before? There shouldn't really be a month go by. I don't think it should be a week, but there should be a month go by where they haven't got something on the YouTube channel saying, "Here's a video we found in the vault," or "Sure, here's a clip from a show." Just something. Here's a thing from Prince. You've got a YouTube channel. You've got 1 million whatever people.
When's the last time they uploaded anything?
Get it out there. Get it out there. There's no reason why not. Just even if it's a little clip, even if it's an unseen thing that lasts for 45 seconds that no one's seen.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like Welcome to America when that came out. And obviously, you know, the concert that they chose to put on the Blu-ray was questionable, but not that it's not a bad concert, but it's just that there were so many others that are out there that you can already see bootlegs again, unfortunately. But you know, there are some amazing shows and performances. You've got Alicia Keys on stage, and you know, there's a whole. It could go on and on and on. And you think, why all of that is professionally shot? Why, you said, when that run up, they could have put little bits of that out, and you know, this is from one.
I mean, like I say, the Chaos and Disorder from Shepherd's Bush. They've obviously filmed the whole concert. It was an immaculate thing, and they've only released that one track. Yeah. And you think, it's just it makes
madness, isn't it? Madness. Go on, you can read this one out.
All I know is I'm getting prepared for what's to come. More cool stuff in the vault, audio and videos. There's so much ideas we can give the estate for future releases. I'm hoping another Super Deluxe edition is next. Absolutely. I think,
I think that's your positivity. Yeah.
I think when you think of how much is in the vault, for me, some of the most exciting parts are the live videos, the live performances that he recorded everything. There's bound to be stuff in their video we don't know about, things he's recorded, not just live shows, but even little video sketches he did or videos for tracks. I mean, we saw like with, the one you want to see, there's obviously videos out there that he recorded, did the whole thing for, and then for some reason, I don't know why, I love that song. I think it should have been a big hit, but I don't understand why that didn't happen. And there's so much possibility when you think of the audio, you think of the video, and I think you've said this, Mr. Anson, it's really spot on. You've said, what other artist has a vault like this? Most artists like Queen, I think, have maybe one album. Michael Jackson has a certain amount, but you look at Prince has a vault like no one else. He has so much, unreleased stuff. This is almost an unprecedented situation, and yet they don't seem to be capitalizing on it.
On that subject, I have a young guy, one of my staff members who I work with. He's in his early 20s, and he asked me about music and stuff, what I'm into, and I talked about Prince, obviously. Oh right, wow, I've heard of him, but this is the trouble with people in their early 20s now. You think, God, makes you feel old.
Yeah.
So, and I explained about it, and I said, you've got this vault, and he was like, what? Anyway, a few days later, he Googled it and looked it up himself because after what I talked to him about. And he was like, I can't believe it. This is incredible. And I said, listen, there's more stuff in that vault than he actually released. And he was just, his jaw was on the floor. And he said, how many albums did he release? I said, I can't remember now, 38 or something like that. He's going, oh my God. And so, young people, they're engaged with this. If they knew about it, or if you talk to them about it, this guy was completely like blown away by what I was telling him. And, and he'd gone away and looked up himself. He just couldn't believe that someone out there had this vault and had this incredible amount of music, that had happened. And I said, yeah, I know.
That's quite interesting. So he had heard of him, but he didn't really know.
No, didn't really know. I think he'd heard Purple Rain, probably something like that. But he didn't really know much about Prince at all. He just heard of him. It's
quite interesting because I have that work sometimes. People will know Prince. They will largely know him through either it'll be the Super Bowl, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, obviously, or Purple Rain, or When Doves Cry, something. But While My Guitar Gently Weeps, the amount of people who come up to me, I didn't know he played like that. I was like, where have you been?
In fairness, even the guitarist at ZZ Top didn't know until he watched him that night when he was there. You think, oh my God, because I thought he just held a guitar. I saw him holding a guitar. Why would you just hold a guitar?
I actually, when you did the piano and microphone, there were comments online in 2016. Oh, can you really play the piano? I didn't know you played the piano. You're like,
yeah. Can we do a quick 2-question Prince? Please, I need a fix. I love it. No, we're not prepared. Although, I can't remember now. There was something that came up the other day that was really good, and I thought, that's a question.
You better write that down. You better write that down.
Oh God, I've forgotten already now.
It makes me think we will have to do another quiz, won't we? We'll have to do one. Like,
they're safe for Christmas now.
Are they? Oh, it's an annual event now. He's
It's
restricting you.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been.
Well,
he's
maybe
been,
we'll do. Maybe we
he's
can do
been
a summer
tight.
one.
It's been tight.
It's difficult coming up with questions.
It is quite difficult. I mean, the trouble is the Prince fans know too much. That's the trouble.
They do.
The amount of times you do
this thing was now.
The amount of times you do a question and you think that's going to be too hard, and
I remember what it is now. Sorry.
Are you going to ask? Are you?
I don't know. No, it was. I was watching a popular comedy quiz program in the UK called "Would I Lie to You?"
Right.
And they had what's his name, Llewellyn. What's his name? You know, the interior designer, Llewellyn Bowen. What's his name?
Yeah, Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. Yeah, and it came up. It was it a lie or was it true? And it was said that he turned down Prince. Like Prince to come round or something to do with furniture in his house that he wanted to use on stage because he was watching, I can't remember, something stupid, like something really mundane on TV. That's what the question was. Was it true or was it false? That Prince had seen his house, seen the stuff he got in his house, and wanted to meet him because he wanted to use it on stage. You
realise no one outside the UK is going to know who Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen is. He's like Oscar Wilde for getting to Syria.
Yeah, and it's like, was it a lie or was it true? No, that's the question. There's your question.
That's not a question. That's a bizarre question.
I know. There you go.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, hold on. There's somebody who likes you. That's not good. Let's have a look.
Someone likes me. Nobody likes me, not even the wife.
Love your rants. I rant to my own home all the time. I do that.
Yeah, you find me in the bathroom just going,
bring on the new music, stop the ugly merch, and bring on some revolution and NPG gigs. Bring us all together. And this is absolutely true. I mean, me and Mr. Ants, we're big fans of the, obviously, all Prince eras, but the 90s is quite a special time for us. And in terms of concerts, like say, we want the full Diamonds and Pearls concert. We want the Act 2 concert. We want, a Gold Experience, live experience concert would be.
I'd love those.
And I mean, we from a 90s perspective, yeah.
Go on. No, I was just going to say, you know what I'd really love? I'd love like one show from each of the tour to come out because you could then physically see the stage disappearing on each show because they kept leaving bits behind.
They got more and more expensive.
Got more and more expensive, so they kept leaving bits behind. Yeah, most of it was left behind in London, so you could see it. Sorry,
he started off and he ended up with he had the whole kind of
he had the whole endorphin machine.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I don't know what he had, just like the middle bit or something. But yeah,
there's probably someone out there who's about to put that on eBay, like bits of the endorphin machine. I don't know. I mean,
I've got it in my garden. I've got the phallic symbol part in my garden. Yeah.
That's a good point because when we went to the My Name's Prince exhibition, they had like a little kind of mock-up, didn't they, of the stage? Not the but like you say that there's so much stuff out there. But I just the live stuff. I think is not. It needs a lot of work to make because I think there's so much. It frustrates me the possibilities of live performance, and I think if you want to do Prince justice, he's an amazing live performer, and you've got to do it. Whenever people see Prince live, they're like, "Oh my god!" And I want that out there, and it drives me spare that isn't a major problem. I think the trouble is I want the estate to work as hard as Prince did, and maybe I'm just
no one works that hard,
expecting too much. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyone watch the Brit Awards? We're in a bad place musically. I will not watch it. It's being recorded because my son wants to watch it because obviously it's his generation now. So, but no, I can't watch it. I didn't like award shows that much anyway, and I only ever used to watch him if Prince or Michael Jackson or Madonna back in the day might be on it. Someone worth watching, might turn up, or they used to have the Brit Awards. They used to have kind of what's the word at the end? They'd give a lifetime achievement, didn't they?
Achievement award, yes.
Yeah. So then you might get someone really good show up, on that. But
I remember the time when Prince did his famous sort of, Prince best gold.
I know. Yeah, gold experience better. Perfect.
In concert, perfectly free.
Yeah. When you're watching that, you think, I don't care about any of these people. I don't even listen to music. Why am I watching this? It's terrible. Getting old is not good, is it? It's not good. So no, the shit awards I like to call them. So.
Open up all the secrets hidden in the vault. Do you know what? This is the thing. I've always likened it. I think recently to, if you're a museum and you had Van Goghs or you had Monets or Picassos, and you had them in your vaults. Let the people see the Picassos. Let them put it, in a museum. Get it out there, because it was created to be shared. It was created to bring joy and happiness. And God knows we need, that.
Yes, this is reminded me of a certain tweet you put out this week. Talking about that. That got someone wasn't happy about, was they? About the when you were talking about artists, you compared it to an artist, didn't you? Because they were having a bit of a dig.
Yes.
It just reminded me when you said about Van Gogh and all that. Van Gogh.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I'm always getting in trouble on Twitter.
But no, it's right, because going back to that point, because people say, oh well, we don't want the music tampered with. We don't want someone else finishing it. We don't want we don't want it being released. Not what Prince had wanted. Not Prince said himself many times that it would all come out, and that even said himself he'd give it away, didn't he? When I think was that the one with Kurt Loder, one of them, where he said he'd just give it all away, or it'll all come out eventually. He wanted it to be heard, he wanted it to be out there, he wanted people to hear it. So all this talk about it's not what Prince want, blah 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 blah. Forget that. He did want everyone to hear it. So he said it himself. So sorry about mini.
No, I think you're absolutely right,
Mr. Ant. There's so many comments coming through. Wow, I can't keep up with it. Where are we next?
At one time, I had a collection, a bit of the Sign of the Times stage. That's pretty cool. I mean, a bit of the Sign of the Times stage. I want to know what bit now.
What part? Yeah, what part did you have? And where was it? And what did you do with it?
The big heart bed.
Yeah, that's what I thought about straight away. Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
Oh, Edgar. The problem with Act 1 is there are quite a few scenes in there that can't really be released anymore these days, harassing females and such. I will say, on one hand, sensibilities have changed, but then I would say I've seen Janet Jackson tie a man to the chair and jump all over him. I've seen, I'm not saying that's exactly the same thing, but there's lots of, to be honest, what I saw on stage.
I can't really remember that much.
What I saw on stage, it was released a few months ago. I won't go into on it because this is a family show, but there was something done on stage by a singer which was well beyond that. Wow. She did something to a man that was So I mean, wow. I don't know. It's there is a different time, but then it's very difficult to
yeah.
But then,
I mean, I only saw.
You can edit those things if needs be, and people wouldn't necessarily, no. I mean, it depends what it's all about the context, isn't it? It's all about the,
because we only got the Act 2 tour over here, so obviously, and we're talking about I take it we're talking about the live shows, are we?
Yeah. We only got
And the Act 2 tour was like it was different to the Act 1. It wasn't the full story of the album, was it? It was more a greatest hits thing with songs. The Act 1 tour in America was different apparently, and it was more focused on the Love Symbol album and the story ran through it. So apart from I've seen some of the Act 1 stuff, but the Act 2 I don't remember much about harassment or anything. I don't know. I suppose it was a long time ago. Probably if you look at it now, you go, "Oh right, okay." I don't know.
It'll be like those programs. We have programs in the UK where they sort of have programs saying, "God, look at the '70s. Look what they were doing." And we look. And there's people now going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite. Yeah. Okay, tomorrow night I'm watching the Super Bowl live at halftime. I'm putting on Prince's 2007 just for 15 minutes. Yeah. It'll feel like he's still with that. Is brilliant.
Yeah, what was it this year? Rihanna, isn't it? I think.
I've got to say, when we went to the My Name Is Prince exhibition, they had several screens up with Prince's Super Bowl performance, and I walked around that whole exhibition. And I saw his guitar, how he'd modified it, and that was beautiful. And I saw all these other things, but it was literally only watching the Super Bowl. I don't know why, but at that moment it hit me, and I got quite emotional. That really hit me that moment. I don't know why. It just, for me, it's about the journey. You think about Prince, a small kid, broken home, lots of things going on. To go from that, and he wasn't brought up in a wealthy environment or anything, far from it. And you look at that, and then you look at his performance in front of, worldwide with hundreds of millions of people, isn't it? That kind of, I'm not saying it's the best. I mean, it's amazing. But what I mean is he's done that so many times. But I'm saying to actually perform in front of that pinnacle, to get to that thing. And at the end of the concert, you can see how much that meant to him in that journey. And everything worked right that night. You know, the all the equipment died immediately afterwards, didn't it? And you know, they thought we were going to get
nothing would work again, would it?
Yeah, they thought he wouldn't come out. They said, "Do you want to put the rehearsal?"
He said, "Can you make it main harder or something?" Like that?
You couldn't. You know, you couldn't plan, and it came together. And I think that's that point where you think of that journey he's had, and then people's lives, and we forget about it when he looks out of those concerts and their lives he's changed.
Yeah,
one guy to affect hundreds of millions of people.
Exactly.
I just hit me. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, so it was so in Act 1, the Game Boys attacked Vanessa Bartholomew, stripped her of her clothes and pushed her around. Bloody hell. Okay, well, I never saw that. I didn't know that.
I do remember someone mentioning that. Yes.
There you go. That definitely was dropped for the Act 2 tour. I don't remember that happening. But...
Yes. This is a really good point as well. We are losing Prince fans every year since we are older on average. By the time the Prince Vault gets released, if ever, there won't be as many of us. I mean, we know from our I mean,
said that so many times.
I mean, obviously on our YouTube channel, we get some kind of demographics, you know, of the fans, and they're probably all but on average,
get the age groups.
Yeah. I mean, we would say it's they're
50 to 60 mostly.
50 to 60 mostly.
Yeah. Occasionally, if you get a video blow up, you get a small little percentage of 20 to 30s, maybe 30 to 40s, but most of the time there's nothing there, and it's all 50 to 60, even over that sometimes, which says it all. And we've said many times that the community is shrinking year on year. It's only getting smaller. So, you know, when these things come out, who are you aiming it at? You know, what, you know, this is why we do what we do, because when we're gone, what then? Because if they're not going to do it, and, you know, who's going to know about these things? Who's going to know about these experiences? You know, like Edgar a minute ago with the Game Boys, I didn't know about that. No. So who's going to tell people what it was like?
That's a really good point, because I think you make that's a really key point. I haven't really thought about that before. That's a really clever point, because as it goes on, there's less and less kind of fans who are really into Prince. And the thing is, then the estate will say, well, we have to do the most popular things because they're the things that sell. We need to make the money. So all those projects that are like fan favorites or things we really love, but aren't necessarily huge commercial successes, are just going to get brushed aside because, okay, well, there's no money in that. The hardcore base is too small. We're not going to bother with Slaughterhouse. We're not going to bother with Chocolate Invasion. We're not going to bother with, even Artificial Age or Hit and Run, Phase 1 and 2. And because, like you say, because we're getting smaller, they're just going to say, well, we're going to have to keep pumping out Purple Rain. We're going to have to just stick with, and that means a lot of that stuff just because it's the hardcore fans who are going to be interested in, lots of these things. And if they are, like you say, on average.
Well, let's put it this way: Artificial Age sold 65,000 copies. So, you know, and that's why he was still alive, and that tells you everything you need to know right there and then. So, you know.
I mean, that would have been, you know, there was times when Prince was performing to more than that a night, wasn't it?
Exactly. I mean, exactly. You know, so it was the Paul sign that he got. Wow. Bloody hell.
I can't even see that. Where's
he says Paul. He says he asked for modern air. It's Paul, the Paul sign. So right at the bottom there, modern air. I think that must be the sign of the times.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Wow. I'm sorry. He says, sorry, I'm using voice to text while doing a few weekend errands here, so my grammar might be off. No way.
Bless you. Purple Nights podcast. Hello to Chris. Hello.
Hey.
We did a video with Chris.
About
a week ago now. 10 days ago.
I think it's a couple of weeks back. A week ago.
Yeah. I got to recommend that video. It's on Mr. Ant's channel, and oh my god, it's brilliant. It's about the impact Prince had on us. It's on Mr. Ant's, like I say, YouTube channel. It's a really emotional journey. Me, Mr. Ants, and Chris Johnson from the amazing Purple Nights podcast, and it just it shows the different ways Prince affected us and how powerful that is, and also I think, like I say, wider points really about the change and the effect things can have on you, and particularly like how you experienced it through Prince. But it's really about the life, I suppose. Like I say, it's quite philosophical. Your bit, certainly. I think, and I think Chris's point. I mean, Prince saved his life. Basically, he's been very brave and open about it.
Yeah,
and I think that's
very touching, and
it's an incredible story. I just, I mean, literally, you can't think of anything more amazing.
I want to thank both of you guys for obviously contributing to that, because it wouldn't be the video that it is without you, both of you.
Oh, bless you.
It's fantastic.
We let you do the work, don't worry. No, it's amazing to I mean, like I say, just the effect people that Prince has on people's lives.
Absolutely. Yeah, life changing on so many ways. Your Edgar, Prince should never ever be censored, obscured, revised. It was his rights and still continues. And this costs for any other artist to have the freedom of expression. Now, this is a good point, because I was talking about this the other day again at work with the same guy. We were chatting about music quite a lot. We had a quiet afternoon.
I bet that other guy's going, "Oh bloody hell, Mr. Ants is here again."
Oh, here we go. We weren't just talking about Prince. We were talking about a lot of things. About cancellation, about if you say the wrong thing, and now this modern world of that's it. You're guilty these days, no matter what. And whether you are or not, say like for instance, what's going on with R. Kelly. So now his music obviously isn't played. Because of what's happened. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying. But it's like when anything like that happens, or anything controversial happens, they try now to erase it from history. So no one should know about it, hear it, watch it, or see it. Now, but yet they don't stop teaching you about the Holocaust. They don't stop teaching you about Adolf Hitler or the bad things like that happened. So why should these things be hidden and not seen or heard for people to understand what happened or why? Because why do you have to erase everything from history and say no, that's it, so we can't show that, we can't release that because he did that or he said that, or that's it. It just annoys me, because people are big enough, ugly enough to be able to cope with it and understand and work it out for themselves.
I mean, I was in London whenever the last time I was in London was, and like I say, I was going around the museums, and part of my degree I studied art, and I was looking at Paul Gauguin, who's like a famous artist, and obviously he spent the last part of his life living on a Tahitian island, and he was about 45-50 with a 14-year-old who he basically but we still have his art, but we don't condone that. But we still keep his art. They don't obviously take his art away from the museums. They put it in the context and say, this is this
well
is,
look at Sorry, go on.
No,
I was going to say, look at Bill. Was it Bill Wyman? Because this is what I was saying. I said back in the 80s, because he was talking about something controversial. I said back in the 80s, Bill Wyman from the Rolling Stones was going out with Mandy Smith, who was 13 or 14 years old. Model, and nobody said anything about it. And then he married her when she was like 18. It was like, and he was like 60.
It's one of those things where it's difficult, because, like you say, there's a lot of controversial. I mean, David Bowie obviously slept with someone who was underage at the time. She's talked quite openly about that. Yeah. But I mean, she's not. I don't mean in an accusatory way. She's very But like I say, it's.
Yeah.
We had this conversation, and I think it's one of the hardest conversations in the world. And we'll get off this in a second, I promise. But
definitely.
But I will say that it's very difficult sometimes to separate the art from the artist.
Yes.
Some people can. Some people can't, and it's very tricky, because I can understand. It's one of those things where I can understand both arguments. I can understand some people say, no, the artist is the art, and some people say, well, I can enjoy look at this painting without, like, I like, I don't know, I've enjoyed a Roman Polanski film, but I don't condone what he does.
No.
So it's like, it's a very tricky thing.
It is.
We got very philosophical there.
We did, didn't we? Yeah. But just to say, we're not condoning or anything what people have done. We're just saying that, I'm just saying that. Why should it be erased from history? Everything should be there for everyone to learn and understand, not just hidden away because it was, it's not deemed acceptable.
Well, the thing is, obviously, we don't. I mean, the thing is, the one thing I will say, the last thing I say, I promise, is that I absolutely guarantee you, in 20 or 30 years, there'll be television programs or programs on the internet looking back at now, and they'll go, oh my God, I can't believe the things they used to say in those days. They'll be looking back now and saying, oh God, people in like 2023. Oh God, they were just awful. They were horrendous people. I can't believe they.
I can't believe they got away with that Love Island shit. Oh.
I know. Well, that's fair enough.
Back to the subject anyway.
I watched soundboard recordings of his live shows. I wish they would release live albums. I have to say, the live thing, like I say, I mean, the soundboard recordings. There's so many of them out there. So many, and live albums. I mean. Every Super Deluxe, obviously, I think should come with at least a live video concert, your DVD, whatever. A live recording of an album. And to be fair, when it comes to Sign of Times, when it comes to 1999, Welcome to America, they're doing those things. but they have to keep doing them. But I want to get every era, like I say, to have an official live video and official live sound recording, a different one. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's, and we should also say that obviously Prince played about with, because he released like Indigo Nights, he released it, but that was mashed in. Yeah, sorry, that was mashed in with
back on the last subject.
Yeah, that was kind of chopped in with lots of different. Indigo Nights was a collection, wasn't it, of different
different nights. Yeah.
Different nights. So I mean,
That's
Prince did that himself. He kind of put together almost like a best of. I mean, had Prince released 21 Nights, no doubt he would have probably chopped.
Oh God, yeah.
I think so. He wouldn't have just shown one night, would he? I think he would have shown.
No. But that is a common thing that happens with a lot of artists. I remember the Dangerous tour, Michael Jackson, and there's some of those. There was the original one that was broadcast live on BBC One from Bucharest, which is one whole show, which is brilliant. But when that was released on DVD, obviously maybe he wasn't happy with the show, or maybe he wasn't happy with certain things. Bits were changed from other performances, and because I'd seen the live one so many times,
they're kind of different.
I knew straight away. Suddenly there was all these other clips shown of fans losing it and going mad and passing out, and which I thought that's a bit weird, you know. And just different parts of the performance. Well, that wasn't how it happened, you know. So that's what they do when it comes to releasing it officially. They obviously look through what they've done. I suppose it's, which you would, wouldn't you? Go, well, I weren't happy with how I did that. That one's better, so I'll slip that in, you know. But
I mean. I from an artist's point of view, because I think, you know, Prince used to watch back every performance, and I've also read something Michael Jackson said about the performance he did, and he couldn't stand his toes quite long enough. And
that's right. Yeah,
he notices those things, like say Prince would notice those little things, and you know, this is something that I agree with so much. Really annoys me when newbies get jumped on if they offer an opinion. We chase them away. We've said this before. We've got to be so much better at welcoming things. I've seen this in Facebook groups. You know, when somebody asks something and everybody goes, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't know that." A real fan would know. I hate that. I really annoys me, because every person I know was brought into Prince. I was really lucky because a friend of my mum's was really into Prince. He sort of, you know, recorded some albums, copied some albums for me, and he got me into Prince. And he was there to kind of give me a rough idea and to, you know, understand Prince and to bring me in. And I always thought if I could ever repay that favor, I would be so indebted. And it just drives me spare, because first of all, no one knows everything about Prince, no one. But second of all, when you first start, it's a bit of an overwhelming thing, because he's got so many albums, you don't know where to start, you don't know what to listen to, and you don't want someone jumping on you just because you might get a little fact wrong, or you might ask a question that's been asked a lots of times before. We all had started our journey, and it just drives me spare, because at this rate, we're going to just slam younger people out of that. We need to welcome them, not
such a good point. And it even happens to us and everyone, because again, I was in conversation about this, and I've mentioned, so I was asking about, you know, do you need to do lots of research when you do your videos? And I said, I do back it up, because although you know a lot of stuff up here for over the years, I said, I check it out and you go back through, because 9 times out of 10, someone will jump on you for getting something wrong.
Yeah, we've all done it.
Always.
You know, you can't be perfect. Yeah. You can't.
And you're out, and if you're out there putting it out there and you're being a voice, whatever, then they have a go at you for getting it wrong, and you go, well, you know, you're welcome. You do
it. It's one of those things where it's so difficult, because, like I say, no one knows it all, and we're always learning. I learned something new about Prince every week.
Same here.
You know, absolutely. I mean, you know. Even Edgar probably learned something new about Prince.
Well, just even Edgar. You know, with the Game Boys, I didn't know about that. So Edgar's educated me tonight. I didn't know about that. So, you know, there's always something to learn.
I think that's the thing. We've got to welcome you. I am slightly inspired, because there's 2 ways I've seen. There's a few people on Instagram and stuff who are doing they sort of Prince. They're on the one, I think she's called, where she dresses up as like Prince.
Yes.
She does these amazing videos, but also there's a lot of young people getting into, you know, the kind of these react to videos where they play. When you see a person listen to Lady Cab Driver for the first time, or you'll see someone listening to Do Me Baby, and they're like this. And I think, you know, a lot of people seem to find that because obviously Prince, in a sense, started behind, because he wasn't on Spotify, he wasn't to those numbers. But I just think, you know, stuff like that, the odd song in a movie can really make, you know, a huge difference.
I said before as well, those React videos only work with younger generations as far as I'm concerned, because it's got to be people that haven't heard it. There's no point in me or you putting a React video out there when I know goddamn well every note, every bit, what's going to happen. You're faking your reaction because you're so used to it. So there's no point in doing it.
Yeah. It's got to be something you've never heard, because otherwise, like you say, what's the
point? What is the point? Yeah. If I am the estate, I would include a disclaimer message to give some context to the content, in part in releasing some of that stuff from the vault. I think context is important and could help releases.
Do you know what, I will say that I don't know if we mean what we were talking about earlier, but certainly some programs in the UK have that. Certainly comedy programs will say, I can't remember how they phrase it, but they say
this has like of the time, wasn't it?
Something like that. They'll kind of find a way to So I mean, I think telling the story is important too, the narrative of the whole of Prince's journey in that sense, like say where he was, and put it into some context, because I don't think the general public really know. They know Purple Rain, they might know Diamonds and Pearls, but and Batman, they don't have a narrative.
I mean, we've already had this with the the track on Hit and Run when it Phase 2, wasn't it, that was changed, because of the lyrics.
Extra Lovable,
Extra Lovable, So, we've had that where, it's not palatable for because was that one we talking about rape, isn't it? Is it that one?
Yes. I mean, songs do get changed. I mean, I'm Paula Abdul obviously did the cover of You.
Yes.
The Prince song You, and that had a reference to rape in the original version that was on released, and obviously Paula Abdul changed that, but it's still it's an amazing song. She changed it, she's made it work. I've got to say it's a great cover. I really I'm slightly biased. We're going to come to Paul Abdul, but I think
don't go there.
It's amazing. Purple Nights, it was an honor and a pleasure to contribute my story to that video. Much respect to both of you. If anybody gets charged, just Purple Nights podcast, Chris Johnson.
Yes, please.
It's just a great guy. He's an incredibly intelligent guy. He's just like say, his knowledge, and I've listened to to his podcast quite a few times, and I've been walking about, and it's just amazing how he talks about Prince and the knowledge he goes into, and I just one of the things we are lucky to is we get to hang about with some amazing people. I feel like I feel like I'm kind of like, I don't know how to put this, but I feel like I feel like the child at the adult table, but I sometimes feel like there's a party of all the amazing Prince people, and I've stolen and sneaked in and got a ticket, right? And no one's noticed.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. We are very lucky. So
very lucky.
Hugs and thank yous to you both for the splendid review of our video. Are we allowed to mention
that? We won't mention it. It will get in trouble. But it was.
So you must tell us, John, if we can mention it.
Yes, you will tell us. But I was blown away. I mean, I told.
You're more welcome, Diana.
I told our mutual friend. My God, it was just wow.
Very emotional. Very emotional.
I was moist-eyed. I think the term.
I'm glad you said eyes.
Yes. $45 for a. I know. He brings it.
Dragging it down again.
$45 for a Prince T-shirt on the official website. I found the same shirt at a thrift store for $2.
Wow.
We were saying, I mean, for us to get it in the UK with shipping is $70 because we have to pay international shipping and stuff like that. So it's $70 for a T-shirt for us.
As I said before, we have to come together, don't we? Going as
we do. We have to basically put in a big order together and order about 10 things and get it delivered to one of us. Otherwise, it's just not.
It's not worth it.
It's just
which is ridiculous. Oh, so he sold the pool and other rare collection items due to health.
No, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, yes.
I mean,
you've
got to do what you got to do, haven't you?
Yeah. I'd like to say, Mod, I always appreciate. I think it's really important to have, lots of different views, and I think, like I say, you're, I think you're amazing. Totally.
Yeah, valuable voice. Yeah. Quite often it seems to be a pissing contest. People looking down at you because you saw less shows than them. Oh God,
I have had. I mean, I've seen that where people will say, they'll say. Well, I think we had it on the other day, didn't we, on Twitter, when somebody said, I'm a day one fan. I was there at the beginning. Therefore, and it's kind of, you get that kind of, I don't know the word. It's almost elitism where I was there. Absolutely. I've seen more shows. I was there before Prince even. I was there before he was conceived. I was there the night before. I was there. I mean, and it's just, it drives me spare because you're not more of a fan. If you've seen one show or like one album, you're a fan. If you've seen it drives me spare. This kind of like there's some kind of weird hierarchy. I mean, lots of people, they say, oh, well, I was there day one. And I've had people have a go. I saw someone once have a go at someone who was 21 and they said, well, I was there at day one. Why weren't you? He's like, I'm 21. I was born in 2001.
Exactly. How could I be there? Yeah. What do you want me to do? Get a DeLorean?
I mean, I know someone who their first album was Emancipation. And so we said, well, oh my God, why is that? You're just a sort of Johnny come late or whatever. And she said, I was like 16. You know, that's when Emancipation was. I got into it. Brilliant. Fantastic. I mean, me and Nance got into, Batman was our introduction, but we were both 14, 15?
14, 15. Yeah.
So I mean, you know, that's when you kind of discover music really strongly. And you know, I couldn't, I mean, if I tried to get into Prince in 1978, but I was 3 years old and it's very difficult to understand. But you know, sort of, you know, soft and wet era. I kind of like, I can just see, soft and wet when you're 3 years old is something very different.
It's completely different. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it really drives me spare. I mean this with the kind of like nicest way that I know people who, I mean, Edgar's one of them, who just know phenomenal amounts, but they don't like lord it over people and say, I am. They don't do that. They absolutely don't do that. And you know, because a definition of a true fan is just welcoming people. It's no one's better than anybody else. It doesn't matter what you know. It doesn't matter what you like.
You should be happy for these people and think of the amazing journey that they're going to go on. You know,
I mean,
you're so lucky. You know.
So, like I say, some people actually get almost jealous. They say, "Well, you get to experience all these things for the first time, and that's amazing."
Yeah, I mean, don't knock them for God's sake. Let them enjoy it. Let them come in, because
at the end of the day, it's not doing anyone any harm. It's bringing them joy. What's the kind of ego to be the biggest fan? You know, it's just absolutely bizarre.
Exactly.
Hello, guys. I'd love it if the estate releases the live concert from 1981 from the Summit in Houston, a Dirty Mind Super Deluxe, which includes the Rebels album. Please release it. That would be. I mean, again, this is another argument. We always talk, don't we, about the fact they only focus on Purple Rain and they don't seem to do much afterwards. But we should talk about what they do before Purple Rain. I mean, we don't talk enough about Dirty Mind and controversy, and you know
that's true. That is true.
You know, I'm a huge controversy fan and huge Dirty Mind fan, and I think that would be very interesting. Actually, and do you know what? That would be quite a different side to Prince, because it's interesting because there's some people who got into Prince a bit later on, and they were really shocked. Well, they said he used to swear. He used to be, wear pants.
Yeah, artichoke.
They couldn't understand because they were like, they'd obviously only seen Prince in a kind of musicology-esque, more, so it's interesting to see these kind of different versions of Prince. I mean, Parade, Super Deluxe. I mean, at one time, we were very sure, weren't we? It was almost like, it's going to come out.
It was a given.
It's imminent. It was ready. We were very sure, and then nothing. No. I mean, Parade is probably, there was a time, I think you go back about a year, maybe probably a year and a half. It was probably the number one thing. If people said what was going to be released next, they would say Parade Super Deluxe. Then that kind of fizzled out, and then it was Diamonds and Pearls, and then that fizzled out.
And that fizzled out, and then nothing, I mean, if
it's
someone from within could be an MVP and leak extra lovable and lust you always in high quality studio audio, that would be awesome.
I see. I mean,
lust you always. What a track that is.
This is the other thing, though. Obviously, when Prince was here, there was a lot. I mean, it varied because sometimes there's a lot of leaking going on for the vault, and sometimes there wasn't, depending what the situation was. But now, obviously, it's all in Iron Mountain. There's no leaks, is there? So it's like
no.
I mean, not saying there's no leaks that could come out, but people would have to already have them. It's not going to come out of. I don't think I have. The only a cappella version I've heard of Prince singing is Let's Go Crazy. They strip out but I have not.
Are we talking about just him with an acoustic guitar? Would you call that?
Or I thought they'd talk about like the hits, but stripped out of everything but the voice. So I might be wrong. I could be wrong. But that would be
cappella versions of singing his hits on YouTube. No. I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, you say they've taken all the music out and it's just his vocals. Is that what we're talking about? Yeah.
I love that on the Let's Go Crazy, because you hear all the little noises and murmurs and things he does in the background that you only just hear, and it's it's incredible.
It's fantastic. I came in on the last train concerning Prince, but he means as much to me as any fan of 40 years.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And I think Purple Knights make the same point. I saw Prince 7 times a total. Doesn't make me any more or less a fan. It's funny how that works. Yes, it is work.
Yeah,
7 is an amazing number.
Fantastic.
I mean, yeah.
If you got to see him once, you were lucky, so you
Yeah.
were blessed. So fantastic. So
I mean, yeah, it doesn't make you. I think you're right. It just doesn't make anybody more of a fan if they've seen everything. Absolutely not.
No. It doesn't matter if you haven't seen him live. So
absolutely not. It's the music. Will said that the music is the thing, and if you've got the music and you've got a pair of headphones, you're good.
Exactly. You're good to go. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. What's the estate been doing since Welcome to America?
Nothing. They've been making pajamas.
Well,
and not Susanna's either.
And scarves. Come on, be fair.
And scarves. Yeah, you can't forget the scarves and the slippers and the bed sheets. The bed sheet experience.
I mean, we presumed, didn't we, that everything must have been. I don't know how far they're into it. I assume it's all digitized, but we don't know.
I think they should remix and re-release Breakfast Can Wait and call it Bed Sheets Can Wait. Bed Sheets Can Wait.
I only got to see one live show, Parade 86 at Wembley. Wow.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad I got to see him. At least that's an amazing show. Because I think personally that Parade is one of the most different shows there is. Because if you look at Parade, then you look at Sign of the Times, it's hard to believe that's the same artist in the space of about a year or so. It's
incredible, isn't it?
I mean, the energy, the lightness, the colours of Parade. Oh my goodness, it's
absolutely. Purple Knights podcast. For information, my podcast is currently on indefinite hiatus because the estate has been so quiet, but also because of the fan community being so negative and judgmental amongst itself. Here you go, what we're talking about. Yeah, well, that is a real shame because your podcast is fantastic. And it's a shame that this sort of thing happens, and it gets to people. We have a very good friend, and he gets very disconnected with Prince and the music because of the way things are, because it meant so much to him, and it's not Prince's fault. It's this is what's so sad. You shouldn't let it detract you or stop you from loving what you love and doing what you want to do and being involved.
It should be a positive experience. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, sometimes we all need time away, and I've done it, and you need kind of but like you say, to retreat into your headphones and stuff. But I think there's no point in negativity. We all want the same. We all want basically Prince to be respected, but Prince to be enjoyed, and his legacy to grow and grow. We all want Prince's work to kind of thrive, and we all want the same thing. So it's not like it's just like say we have to we're still a band, right? As they say in the
exactly like that. We're still a group, right? Although my periods have been reversed, so blame God.
You couldn't say that now.
No.
I'm reporting you, right?
Okay. Yeah. Oh dear.
I'm going to fine you $500 or whatever you're paying.
All right. Yeah. Go on. You can read this one.
Let's be real. If you didn't see him live, that's okay. However, you missed a huge part of the experience in what he was portraying or communicating with regards to the albums and eras. I mean, the thing about Prince is I thought about this, but you think of any artist whose career went on for 30, 40 years, you have to have this ability to reinvent yourself. Whether it's, I don't know, Madonna, Prince, whoever, you have to be able to reinvent yourself and each time Prince had an era, he had a look, didn't he? A different look. Like you think of rave, you think of how he looked, you think of the concerts. He had a different concert, a different, idea. And each thing was sometimes you see a little bit of changeover, like the end of the Sign of the Times going into the polka dot of Love Sexy.
Yeah, that's a very similar kind of thing. Yeah.
But it's just, it's amazing how these eras were all different.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you go from the first 2 albums and then go Dirty Mind, wow, what a difference that was. Sonically,
I don't know how no one could have seen that coming.
No, exactly. And then if you take that and then go to Purple Rain, you go, wow, massive difference. And then go Parade from Purple Rain, massive difference. Sign of the Times.
It's just insane. I mean, some of the changes he did, I just can't get my head around. I mean, what they thought of Warner Brothers when they saw Dirty Mind, God knows what they did. Speaking of Let's Go Crazy a cappella, what stems multi-track would you like to be leaked? I have to be honest, this might sound a bit weird, but Emancipation disc 2, I would love to hear just the pure a cappella for that because his falsetto on Emancipation, especially that disc 2, they're kind of
Soul Sanctuary.
Oh God,
Dreaming About You.
I'd love to hear like Savior or something like
yeah.
that. You know, I really
Holy
would.
River.
Oh God, Holy River. You would love Holy River.
I would love Holy River. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, we'll have a few more minutes, and then I've got to let Mr. Stans go to bed because he's getting very old. My ultimate wish with the Dirty Mind controversy second coming era as a deluxe, but it's highly unlikely. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to know. It's kind of, I think that would be quite a strong, fan favorite. But like you say, you just don't know what the estate are thinking. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, at the moment, I couldn't tell you what I think is gonna. I mean, they may follow that program of picking the popular albums. I mean, Sense Diamonds and Pearls is a huge commercial hit.
Commercial success, yeah.
But I would love to see Dirty Mind controversy a second coming. But yeah, yeah.
No, it's just there's so much to choose from and pick. It's just
this is not a bad choice to have, is it? So many different eras. It's not a bad thing,
because how many special deluxes have we had? Of existing albums. We've had Purple Rain, 1999, Sign of the Times. Is that it? Welcome to America was Vault. Vault, really. So fill your boots. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It is indeed a problem that fans are judgmental amongst themselves. We should all stick together. I think you're absolutely right. I think we all come at it from a different way. We all have a part to play. Because when I see it sometimes gives me hope when I kind of see, like a Facebook list. So lots of these groups have got tens of thousands of people in them. And every day they're posting print stuff, and it's kind of like, so there is a decent amount of people. But like you say, there's no need for us to ever kind of. We all come here for the same thing. We're all the same thing. We're all we're all here for
absolutely.
Yeah,
I love the Parade Era and Under the Cherry Moon. I don't care what anybody says. It's one of the greatest films I've ever seen.
I mean, I think
I love that.
It's the most beautiful. I think. I mean, there's no question. Cinematography wise, it's the best film. If you take, of the
really
the script written, Bill. Yeah, it's just it's stunning. I think it's one of those things where he took a kind of left turn. It is funny, and he took a left turn, and people didn't know what was going to happen, and it was an homage. And I think I enjoy it.
It's nowhere near as bad as people say. Absolutely nowhere near it. You love what you love, and why should we be ruled by critics and what people say? If someone just said, "This is what I hate," and people wait for something to come out, read the reviews, and go, "Well, I'm not going to go and see that, or I'm not going to listen to that, or I'm not going to play that game because everyone says it's crap or rubbish or whatever." If you like it, that's what matters. Don't worry about what the critics say.
Yeah,
if you like it.
Well, I think it's that quote. I'll probably get it right, but about Prince, like if you're cool, if you can go into a room and not kind of worry about anybody else, kind of thing. If you're kind of basically if you're cool, if you kind of you're doing your own thing, and if you want to whatever you want to listen to, that's cool. It's actually cooler to just do your own thing, and that's part of Prince. He did his own thing, went his own way. He didn't follow other people, so I think that's
absolutely. So Under the Cherry Moon, yes, come on, great stuff. Where are we? Almost at the end. Purple Nights podcast. Chris, continue to do your thing and create. Ignore the negative and have fun with what you do. We need your voice out here. Absolutely, couldn't put that any better.
100%. If I had a button I could press to say, "Oh my God, yes,"
that would be it. Absolutely, absolutely.
I can't.
Because there's not enough voices out there. So.
Oh, do you know what? I mean, I obviously don't know huge amounts about other fan communities, but the ones I have seen, like Madonna one, Michael Jackson one, I've seen a few Springsteen. There's a lot out there, and I actually think the Prince community, in a sense, has a lot less voices than I would expect.
Yeah,
I'm very surprised actually, in a sense, because there's not huge amounts.
5 or 6 YouTube channels, maybe main ones.
I mean, and like I say, podcasts. There's some really good ones, but there's not many. And so I think we like I say, it's we need to have that, and that just that I don't know why that is particularly. I don't know if I'm not sure why, but it's God knows. I mean, anybody. I would say to anybody, if you want to do it, just go out there and do it. Don't think about it. I mean, me and Ants just did it. Just Don't think about it.
Well, he's doing it. I'm going to try it.
I mean, and I did it because when I started, it was Chester Jenkins.
Yes, that's right. So you inspired you, and you inspired me.
So it's all of those things. Just go out there and do it. And you know what? You're gonna stumble and fall over and get it wrong, but it doesn't really matter as long as you speak about what you love, and it doesn't really you don't have to be all bells and whistles. You just go out there and do it, have some fun, and
got a passion for it. Then
I mean, just enjoy it. It's it's I've been really lucky, like I say, in terms of just the people you meet and the people you get to talk to and the people you have conversations with that you never thought you'd be. Sometimes you just think, you just sort of you just sit there and thinking, God, I'm 6 foot away from Ingrid Chavez, and it's all.
I know. I don't know who you sorted those seats out. I tell you, I don't know.
Very suspicious.
Yeah. Good night that was. Anyway, where are we?
Oh God, a question. Oh no.
Good evening, mates. Question for each of you. Who is your all-time ex-Prince band member? And you can only choose one. Mine is Rosie Gaines. She's incredible. Oh wow. And that is.
Are we saying band members or proteges? I suppose if you're saying band members.
Band members, I think we're talking about here.
That's
difficult.
A hard question.
That's so difficult.
I mean, personally, I'm going to say. Well, I'm going to say, I'm slightly biased, but I'm going to have to go with Ida because she's just the nicest person that I've ever met.
That's a great answer.
Ida Nielsen has been incredibly kind. She's amazing talent, and when you see her close up, just the and do you know what the thing about Ida is she loves touring, she loves performing, and it's interesting of all the people Prince has worked with, she is out there week in, week out, concerts, doing things, touring. She's just incredible. So I'm gonna Ida's
really good.
Amazing.
I'm tempted to swing with Mr. Hayes.
Oh, Mr. Hayes. Yes.
Yeah.
He's an amazing guy. I mean,
he's a great guy, and
he's basically the band leader of the NPG now, isn't it? And he's he's just.
But I mean, there's a whole long list, but I think I'll go with Mr. Hayes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Any more before we go? Is it true there's a 5th Prince movie out there somewhere, or hearsay? Sorry, we've got another one up there. Sorry. Great show. Oh, hang on. Yeah.
He can't keep up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Movie. I if you tell us more, I don't.
There's the 3121 movie.
Yeah. There's bound to be, because when we saw, what's that one called? What's that called? The Hard Days.
Oh my God!
A Bum's Life, a Hard Day's Life, or something like that. It's like
that is the oddest thing ever. That.
Yeah, I mean that makes Happy Birthday, Mr. Christian look quite sensible, but it's it's bound to be stuff out there. I'm convinced.
Wow.
I can say thanks to Brian. Great show, lots of knowledge from everyone. Let's keep our fingers crossed for some more good stuff in the estate, and soon. That's the key point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for showing up. Thanks for watching. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Okay, let's have a look here. Should they
use Lotus?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, just Purple Nights. There's Lotus Flower movie, which I understand is music videos tied together by a loose storyline, a little bit like 3 Chains of Gold.
Oh yeah. See, I love those. Well, I mean, we don't get them anymore. Like and you get like the TV specials you used to get with Love for One Another and Ride Divine and stuff like that.
Beautiful Experience, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I love Beautiful. Should they use deep fake technology over the actor portraying Prince's hypothetical?
No.
There he goes. Well, that's Mr. Answer's answer.
Don't go there. Don't do that. Just don't.
We said before, the problem with any biopic is you've got to get someone. I mean, you can get someone. I mean, it's difficult enough. But I mean, I suppose you could say there are certain people like I forgot his name. Mark Prince.
Mark Anthony.
Mark Anthony. I mean, he often can look like Prince to an extent, obviously, but you can't get someone to dance and sing like Prince.
No,
it's not possible. You can't do that. So I don't know how you do it.
What scares me with that, the aging stuff that they do. Some of it's really good, obviously, for what they do. They use a lot of it lately in Star Wars. With Mark Hamill, they did it on The Mandalorian, and it was really cool. That's great. And obviously, Mark Hamill was involved himself. He used a bit of his obviously, because his body language and stuff like that. But they actually used, because your voice changes as you get older, obviously. They used his voice from when he was younger to put together the speech.
See, that's the thing. Where someone's famous, like Sean Connery and Mark Hamill, I suppose at least you have something to go by. You know what they were like.
But what frightens me about it is that you can see this coming, that in 20 years' time, that because they are so dead in Hollywood and have no original ideas, they will just make endless films using dead people, using computers to de-age them and bring up every create a vocabulary from their voices in the, and then we'd just have all this going on. Here's Mission Impossible 36,
because I mean,
Tom Cruise would have been 150 this year. Doesn't it look amazing?
I don't mind it in kind of sense if they're doing it in a story where, I think they did it in The Irishman with they sort of did it to show people at different stages in the film. You think, okay, that's one thing, but when you get to that point, say, they won't need actors, will they? They'll just
no. I mean, in the new Indiana Jones film they're doing, it works with this. The opening of the film is going to be set when Indy was younger, so they've used that technology on Harrison Ford. Obviously, he's playing Indy. And it looks incredible. It does look incredible. It's getting better all the time, and it looks real. And you think, my God, that what he looks like in the mid '80s.
I've seen some of those, fake Tom Cruise, deep fake ones. So that's terrifying because that's a whole other conversation. But the effects that you could have for that, God knows, it would be.
But if it's used in the context of a story and the actor's still alive, then fair enough. But I just can see what's going to happen, in the future. But there you go. Don't be bringing these people back. No. They're gone.
Other things. Prince was always about individualism, about doing your own thing and thinking for yourself. So yes, you can take information and then make up your own mind. Listen to the music on a personal level. That's how the whole school said to you to do it. When we didn't go online and we didn't. That's the thing. I in the last video I did for Mr. Ants, I talked about that, how I had two parts to my Prince journey. The first part, which was basically me on my own with my headphones, on my own. And then the second part, which is like with the community online. So it's a different thing, So
I'm just going to, sorry to interrupt.
That's all right.
That's all right. Just, my son's about to go to bed. So
bless you.
You going to come and say hello? Are you going to bed? You don't want to be on. He's going to bed. All right, then I'll put him up on these 5 seconds of non-fame.
But I think that's an interesting. We grew up listening to music on our own. I mean, in headphones, you didn't have a community, no internet. That's how it was.
Yeah,
that's how it was. All right.
Night. Oh, he's going to bed. Oh, he's going to work. No, don't do that on, boy. Yeah. Sweet dreams. Oh dear. See, night. Family life. You see, you have to revolve it around what you're doing. You see. Yeah. Does the wife want to come on? The wife wants to get on YouTube now. Sorry about this. I'm being hijacked.
Parents' fee. That's Mr. Answer's wife there.
Hello. This is Trisha, my wife. She has to put up with Prince.
She has to put up with Mr. Ants, and that's quite frankly.
No, she's actually big Prince.
The medals in the post.
So she had to be. She had to be. It wasn't going to work otherwise. So.
I mean, we're actually true that Mr. Answer's son was actually in utero at a Prince concert, weren't he?
He was.
Yes, so amazing.
In the Indigo too. Anyway, sorry about
that. No, we are nearly there. I think.
I think so.
Pull out the LPs you already have and appreciate them all over again. You're right. Enjoy. Do you know what? This has given me a chance. I will say finally, this has given me a chance to go back into what I own and explore it again and enjoy it again. And there's always a value in doing that. And I think one of our friends did that recently. He set up a random Prince playlist, and
absolutely, it was taken by surprise. And what was coming on next? Because yes. Well, we got lucky. Thank you. No, I know we're lucky boy.
I know we have said she could do better, but
No, I believe I've got one more camera. I think he wants to come on camera now. Oh dear. So sorry. I'm sorry about
this. You don't get this on professional. We said there are professional broadcasts and there are us. We we're two guys in a pub, basically.
Exactly. In a pub, getting sloshed. Dropping your coaster on the floor. Sorry. Oh dear.
The Second Coming movie exists in the vault. I think that includes concert footage from the March Minneapolis Stop of the Controversy tour. I'd love to see some of those early things. When Prince, he's kind of working out his stagecraft, and he still wasn't trying new things and various things. And I think seeing that stage and how he evolved, that is something I'd really like to see. I think that would be just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. We got any more comments, and we're going in a minute. So, what have we got? Go on, a couple more.
I think that's absolutely true by Tony Delta Blues. The visceral experience of Prince back before the internet was different from the post-internet experience, because the thing is, when you got an album from Prince, apart from the odd review in a newspaper, you didn't know. No one told you what to think about it. You had your own experience, and if you liked certain tracks and various things, you didn't know that other people did or didn't like them. It was just you and your headphones, and what you liked, and it didn't matter about anybody else. And you played that, and you read every line and note, and you read it over and over again. And I think that's just a different thing now. Whereas now everything's very, very, very much different.
Yeah.
I think this is.
Fran, you're
I think
punching above your weight. She's getting a big. Oh look!
See, you've got the sun there. Look.
Hello.
Can you see the resemblance there? Can you see the resemblance?
This is my son Hayden.
Oh, he's got his symbol on.
He's got his symbol on. This has nothing to do with me. I get, oh, you brainwashed him. It's not me. I didn't do it. He's just.
It was my own choice. For the record.
I am free. It's not. It was. He honestly doesn't make him. He says that, but
honestly, I don't know. Sorry about that.
Oh, bless him. Well, I think that's a good note to leave it.
Really?
Yeah, don't take that the wrong way. I am too. I know. I am fine.
I think that's a good point to leave that. Mr. Ants punching above his weight. There.
Yeah, I love it.
Bless. Well, thank you all for being amazing. We love you all, guys, and hopefully we'll have something to talk about in terms of a release soon.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. You take care. You take care.
I'll take care, everyone. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for inviting me on. Yeah, it's great because I'm not doing it tonight. It's not. I'm not in control.
We shall see you soon. We shall see you soon.